Let's talk to Linda in Tunbridge Wells. Linda, hello, thank you for calling.
Oh, hi, Nick. Yes, I just wanted to say to you that these marches for peace, they are not for peace, they are hate marches. I spotted today, watching various news items, there were men dressed up in Hamas terrorist attire.
You saw that today on the marches, did you?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean...
and I also saw a Nazi emblem.
What is that? Can you just clarify to me, what is that attire?
It is what the terrorists, Islamic, genocidal, anti-Semitic terrorists wear just before they're going to commit jihad.
Can you give me an example of what sort of thing it is? Many of us would not recognise it, I suspect.
Well, I saw it on 2 different TV stations. I mean, it was as clear as anything.
What is it, a scarf or is it a...
headband with Arabic writing, which I don't know what it says. They've also got the red keffiyeh, which is this scarf that they also wear. This was complete attire. And there are anti-Semitic images, and I am being gaslighted all day long by the media, telling me, no, it's peaceful, they want peace. How dare you tell a Jewish person who's watching anti-Semitism on the streets of London for the 5th Saturday in a row that I'm crazy?
I'm going to ask Benedict here.
With this country,
Linda,
and you know it.
Linda, stay with us. Stay with us, Linda.
They are not calling to disarm Hamas. They want Israel to surrender to barbarism.
I never saw a poster there that asked them to give up the hostages. You're absolutely right. I take your point, and I understand entirely why you're living in fear, and I've heard very eloquently from many callers. But Linda, stay on the line for a second. Briefly, Benedict. I mean... It's true, isn't it? Our police officers are not going to be trained what to look out for,
Again, this is part of the problem with multiculturalism as we interpret it in this country, which is not, in fact, that everybody becomes sort of deeply ingrained and knowledgeable about other cultures. It is that we close our eyes and just say, that's somebody else's culture and you have to just accept it, but I'm not actually going to bother to learn about it. And I think this is something that's also reflected in, for example, the relations between the police and the Pakistani community when it comes to things like child abuse, when it comes to things like forced marriages, when it comes to things like honour killings. A lot of these things are able to go under the radar because the police have no concept of what the Pashtunwali is. They have no idea why it is that people don't go to the police, that, you know, culturally you do not go to the police with your problems, you settle them in-house, and why this sort of thing is allowed to happen. And you see that through lots of different cultural groups, communities as they're called. The police likes to talk about cohesion, talking to community leaders. It doesn't police necessarily in the same way because it doesn't entirely understand the phenomenon that it's dealing with. And to be fair, that's a very difficult thing to ask rank-and-file officers, let alone leadership, to, you know, get yourself completely across all these things.
It's true. Linda, let me ask you this, if I may. Is there any other point in your life you have felt more fear as a Jewish person in this country?
Never. I'm 72 years old. I was brought up in London, born and bred in London. I was beaten up at school, in my junior school, for being Jewish. I just thought, well, you know, this happened to me once, but I have never felt like this. My family are scared to go out at the moment in London. I don't live in London. I live outside of London.
I know, you're in Tunbridge Wells, yes?
Yes, I live in a village.
Have you considered, and I don't say this with any pleasure at all, have you considered leaving this country?
Yes, now my husband and I, we are talking seriously. We're being pushed out.
Where would you go, do you think?
Country we love, but we would rather leave of our own accord. There will be a time when we will be so threatened that we won't be able to walk anywhere. So it's a choice of that, and I don't think I can wait because I have great-great-grandparents who were killed in pogroms, and they waited too long.